Have you ever felt like people are constantly stealing your joy? It's time to take back control. Let's talk about how to guard your peace, strengthen your mindset, and live with unshakable joy no matter what comes your way. So, I don't know about you, but the past couple of years have been slightly challenging. And so, at the beginning of every year, I choose a word that represents my overarching goals. And so, my word for 2025 is joy. And I realize that me just saying the word joy is not going to automatically make joy just appear in my life, because I know that life is full of fights. And if I want joy, I have got to be willing to put the work behind what I desire, which is joy. Okay. So some of the ways that I plan on doing that are, I've identified 5 different attitudes and the activities that I need to do with those attitudes in order to make joy manifest in my life. So here we go. Here are 5 different attitudes and activities to help protect your joy in 2025. I want to make sure that I am cultivating a grateful heart. And so let's be honest, life can be lifing, right? And so I've noticed, when I encounter challenging situations, my first inkling is not necessarily to, pray and to have an attitude of gratefulness. Okay. I'm human. But my goal this year is to make sure that I focus on the blessings that I have in my life instead of dwelling on the frustrations. Because at the end of the day, it can always be worse. It can. It can always be worse. We have so many of us walk around with this first world mentality, right? There are so many things that could be much worse than what we're complaining about. And so my goal is to focus on making sure that I am cultivating a grateful heart by focusing on all the blessings that God's given me. And one of the activities that I want to actually do a better job in being consistent on is making sure that I continue to start my daily gratitude journal. Okay. So I actually have 3 journals, and that may be overkill for some people, but I just want to focus in particular on the daily gratitude journal. And I've been journaling ever since I was a kid. And to be quite honest, the past couple of years, I've kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. I've missed a lot. I've missed more days than what I normally would miss, if you will. And I definitely don't want that to be the case anymore. So I want to make sure that I do a better job in making sure that I'm writing down at least 3 things that went well with me that day in my daily gratitude journal. And I'm going to be honest, because I've been doing this for a while, but I want to be more consistent. And some days are tougher than others. Some days I have literally wrote, I woke up. Okay. Life can be lifing. All right. And when it does, some days are a little bit more difficult than others to really dig up that, what went right with me today. So even if you find yourself in that situation, you better put down that you woke up. You better put down, if you've got your health or, just there is something that you can write down. There is never a day where there's something I just can't write down anything. Not true. Not going to happen. All right. Number 2, and this is a big one, set healthy boundaries. I repeat, set healthy boundaries. I have got to have the attitude this year, because of all the different goals that I want to accomplish this year. I got to have the attitude and be quicker at recognizing that not every situation or person deserves my energy or attention. I am the type of person that if I see someone going down the wrong path, I will do everything in my power to warn that person. I don't want folks graduating from the school of hard knocks unnecessarily. Okay. Been there, done that. And so I want to try to save other people the headache in doing that. However, with some folks, I don't know what to say. They run and wisdom is just faster, right? They're just running and wisdom outruns them every time. And I have gotten to the point, I realize that I cannot help everyone. So I need to focus on the folks that want to help themselves. So this year, I'm all about, here's the information. If that person asks me for help, here's the information. If I see that person's going down the wrong road and I think they may be receptive to my advice, I'm going to share it and let it go. Okay? Share it and let it go. Because I cannot be in a situation where I want to help someone more than they want to help themselves. That is draining. It is not it's not an efficient use of my time, especially when there are so many other folks out there who could benefit from a lot of the projects that I'm getting ready to release in the upcoming year. I know those folks that want to help themselves are going to benefit from this. And so in order to make sure that I get those projects done, I got to let the other folks go. All right. So the activity that I plan on doing in order to ensure that this happens is saying the word no. Now, I've gotten pretty good at saying the word no, but you are going to hear that word from me a lot more this year because I've got to say no when people are trying to take over unnecessarily my time when they're not willing to help themselves. I've got to say no that if I'm in a toxic environment or conversations that drain my peace, I cannot engage. I will not engage in those types of activities anymore. I can't do it, mainly because I know all the things that God has in my heart to accomplish, and I got to have energy for that. Which leads me to number 3, practicing spiritual alignment. So I've got to have the attitude where I need to stay rooted in my faith. And I know that joy comes from God and not my circumstances. And so the way that I plan on acting this out, the activity that I make sure that I'm going to do is making sure that I dedicate time each day to Bible study, prayer, and meditation to strengthen my connection with God. And so I've noticed, I am not perfect. I'm human. But I have noticed in those instances where I did not do, Bible study in the morning, which is what I typically try to do, or set aside time for prayer, that sets the tone for the day. I have noticed each and every time where I failed to do that the day didn't go the way I had hoped it would have gone. And I really do believe that's because I didn't set the tone, right? I did not set the tone. I didn't include God in my conversation. I wasn't aligned. And so the day was pretty much left to chance. And I don't want to do that. I've got too much that I want to accomplish. And I want to make sure that I stay on track with my desire to have joy. And so that leads me to number 4, pursue purpose with passion. So many times God has given us so many gifts, right? But we still insist on living our lives with the should've, would've, could've mentality. And I don't want to look back on my life and realize that God gave me all these gifts and I didn't do a single thing with any of them. I'm going to be honest. One of those gifts has been writing. That is a gift that I had taken advantage of for a very long time because writing comes naturally to me. I've been journaling since I was a child. I've done a lot of content marketing for my clients. It's just ingrained in me. But I never thought that I could be an author. I thought that I just had this whole idea of what it took to write a book. And last year, I finally made it happen. I did. I'm a first-time author. I released my first book, How to Live an Extraordinary Life with or Without Mr. Right. And That book has been inside my head for years. Years it's been inside my head because I kept talking myself out of it. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. I'm not a writer. That's what would go in my head. But yet and still, God had put on my heart, you are a writer. I gave you that gift. Same thing with speaking. A lot of you already know I do voiceover work. I host a podcast. I am focusing on all of the activities that I know are my God-given gifts because He has put so many different personal projects on my heart that I know once they come to fruition, it's going to help out a lot of people. And so I'm not listening to Satan anymore, okay? And I hope you don't as well. I want you to focus on your God-given gifts and the goals that align with your calling. And the only way that you can go about doing that is making sure that you dedicate time in your schedule to work on those gifts that He's given you. Because if you don't use it, you will lose it, okay? Which brings us to our last point. Embrace self-care. You have got to understand that taking care of yourself is essential for maintaining joy, okay? You cannot pour from an empty cup. And if you continue to work yourself to death, you are going to burn out and you're not going to be good for anyone. And so there's several activities that I enjoy doing that bring me joy. And again, the way that I get that joy is by embracing self-care. So some of the activities that I thoroughly enjoy doing is exercising. I've said that so many times, but I will always say that, okay? Because I enjoy exercising. It clears my head. It enables me to get a lot of the ideas for the podcast. A lot of my ideas come from exercising because it calms me down. Another thing that I thoroughly enjoy is journaling. I love to journal. I love to write, right? So it's kind of funny that I finally took the initiative last year to write my first book. I enjoy journaling. I've always enjoyed that. So that's an activity that I want to continue to do more of. Tea time with my mom. That's a big one. We have so many great conversations and I love that so much. And just focusing on people and activities that recharge my mind and my spirit. And so I truly hope that you realize that joy is a daily choice. And by nurturing these attitudes and activities, you're going to create a protective shield around your peace. If this content resonates with you, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, if you're everything to everyone, then you risk being no one. You never know who you will inspire. See you in the next episode.